Hey guys, Nananki here bringing you another live Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary, or at least it was live until I realized I did not have the darned sound recorder going, so I did not have any mic recorded. All I had was the game sound, so I talked to myself for an entire round. So I'm just going to post commentary this round, and the new Demo Man weapon, the loose cannon I've had up on the screen for a few seconds now, is the new grenade launcher for Demo Man. It uses cannonballs with a fuse in them. They look like Acme bombs, if you ask me. You can hit people with them for a knockback effect, which also deals damage, and then the explosion will also deal damage, so you can kind of do a lot more damage to people and knock them back around corners, like the compression blast, the force of nature, or the scorch shot. You can see on the bottom right hand side there, the little bar is the fuse on the cannons, and you can cook those in the gun, so to speak, or, burn them down so that when you launch them, they blow up in the middle of the air, like you saw just there. Although I switched to the sticky gun, because that's a corner, and I got a crit sticky, and crit stickies are still pretty much ungodly awesome. But anyway, back to this gun and its capabilities. Other than being able to knock people around randomly with it, which you probably already are aware of, and if you weren't, then guess what? If there's a third weapon now that can knock people around, other than the compression blast and the force of nature. So now heavies have 3 classes that can just knock them back around a corner when they come strafing out around a corner, like, yes, I'm going to kill all these people. No, you're going to get knocked all over the place, and can't aim when you're getting knocked all over the place. It's just kind of ridiculous. Which is one of the reasons that I am kind of in love with this weapon, on defense at least. A few things make me think that it is intended for defense, not so much as an offense, because on offense you really need to blow up sentry guns to move forward, usually. And that's the Demo Man's main strength, in my opinion, is they are the best class in the game, generally, at taking out sentry guns. This gun, though, is not as good at that, because first of all, the rounds are not point detonating. They hit people and they knock them back, they don't explode immediately. And that's great against people, but that knockback damage on sentry guns really isn't that much. It treats them like a wall, and then they fall to the ground and do 50% of their normal explosion damage. Although I didn't know about it at first, this gun will in fact knock back an Uber, and I ran from this one. But you can see the moment it ended, I did manage to disrupt the heavy's aim and knock him all over the place, and the gun and my teammates and so forth killed him. But being able to bounce people around really stalls offense, especially the Ubers, but just in general it stalls the offense. Just reiterating that this is primarily a defensive weapon, and I think if you're on offense, especially if you're dealing with sentries, especially if you're dealing with big sentries, not the minis, you will really probably be better off with the lock and load or the grenade launcher, depending on your aim capabilities and preferences and so forth. If you happen to be lobbing them in from a distance and you're not hitting the gun directly, they're rolling around, it's going to take double what it used to. So instead of 4 having a really good shot at blowing up an NG nest, you're going to need 8. So the NG needs to be dead. But as far as I'm concerned, that is really the only downside of this weapon, being able to blow up sentries and dispensers and teleporters slightly less efficiently. The trade-off is freaking awesome, being able to knock back heavies or whatever else, but primarily classes like heavies and pyros, that before, if you stuck grenades on them, you were going to damage yourself tremendously. Now you hit them with this object that knocks them backwards or sometimes sideways. It's not really totally obvious what causes that, but they spin off in a random direction. The point is, they're not able to aim properly, they're not able to keep chasing you properly, and the grenade does not go off in your face. So that's pretty cool, honestly, not having to resort to self-destruction to blow people up as a last-ditch effort. And if memory serves here, I believe an Uber comes in that pretty well clears us out of this whole hallway. But it also is a good example of being able to knock heavies away from you with this new weapon. Ordinarily, if you were at this range with a heavy, you'd have to dip around a corner, but now you can knock him around the corner. And even though I kind of didn't notice the other heavy going up on the left side behind me, you have an opportunity with this gun to stand in front of heavies in a way that you couldn't before because of, like I said, not only the disrupted aim, but then knocking them around corners and so forth. You can kind of just refuse to let people come forward with this gun, to a degree. And you can still spam with it even though it's going to do 50% less. That's kind of good, I feel like. Spam, I've always felt like should do less than it does. Rolling grenades, I've always felt like should do like half as much as they do. So this gun's design parameters are logical to my thinking. They make sense. It seems reasonably balanced, though it does feel like if they nerfed it, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. I could see them doing something like reducing the fire rate so you can't get all 4 out quite as fast. That's another thing, I kind of like the grenade launcher. I can hold down the fire button and fire at my maximum fire rate, and with this new weapon I have to click rapidly, and I don't really like that as much, but it's a fair enough trade-off for being able to cook the timer on the grenades before you fire them. And right there was funny too, because I was getting ready to head up top, and I'm like, yeah, I think I should head up top and see what I can see, and there's a sniper just chilling there. This weapon is just really filling the one hole demo men had, which was that if you got point blank with them, they pretty much had to blow themselves up or whip out the melee weapon, which I will do that against pyros if I feel like they're going to try to WM1 me, and I've already hit them once, like with one grenade, and I'm like not really certain about my ability to stick a second one, plus the, you know, radial damage from the blast being a factor. I'll pull out the melee, I'll pull out the whiskey bottle and whack them with it, and if I've, you know, judged it right as far as how much damage they've already taken, I kill them with the next swing, then it's like, hey, that worked out great, and I didn't have to blow myself up, and the amount of fire damage I took was probably less than what I would have taken if I tried to blow myself up along with him. So all the spam on this corner has finally paid off. We finally managed to break out of the corner, finally. There's the heavy who was running over us on the first 2 levels of Gold Rush. This is, of course, the 3rd level of Gold Rush. And I don't know when the teleporter went down. I think it must have gone down just there. I think the soldier must have got it, because I did not see it up there. And I know I didn't get it, but I am pretty sure it was there. So it's down now. And I always do that when I'm getting point blanked by a group of people. It's like, just put stickies at your feet and keep running backwards. You got to kind of put them 1 second away from you if you can, so that you can blow them up as they get to them without you being still on top of them, or without shooting the stickies so far forward that you're gonna blow them up too late, because they do take 1 second to arm, which sounds like nothing. And there's that heavy medic combo coming out of that little opening there, and I was like, medic, get back, medic, follow me, medic, no, don't be up there, behind. And they're still trying to come up on the right hand side, and I was like just really wanting to just throw some grenades after that medic there. And there's a good example of hitting a pyro, except of course I turned around and ran into the cart and got blocked and destroyed, and he killed me and my medic. So that was thoroughly disappointing, but that is kind of an example of what I'm talking about with this weapon. With the loose cannon, you can knock back a pyro who's coming in, who would normally burn you to death, or you would have to blow yourself up on him to stop him from burning you to death. You know, sometimes that's the best you can hope for in that exchange, is mutual assured destruction. It's like, well, you're going to kill me, I'm going to kill you, and that's all I could manage to salvage out of the situation. I couldn't do anything more than that. So we got a little mini sentry up there now in the cart now, and I was thinking if I can just get up on this ledge, I can probably get everything I need to kill, and if anybody comes around that corner like that scout did to me last time, I'm waiting for him. So I figured I'll just get reloaded, I'll sit on this little candy bar or small health pack to pick up, and chill on that. And I noticed the cart getting pushed a little bit and kept kind of being edged forward, and I'm like, I'd like to get max health, I'd like to wait for someone to step into my sticky trap, but I can't. There's no need for it, not when there's all kinds of other people to blow up and shoot. And yeah, hi sniper. Didn't even get a chance to shoot at him, but there's that telly. All I want to do right now is blow up the telly. And I'm like, hey, I got the telly, and I'm looking at the list of names there, and I'm like, well, I didn't get the the NG, so he's just going to build another one. And I just totally luck out there. Didn't even see the guy. He just happened to be in that spot. Oh, I love the demo man's domination lines. I love the domination lines in this game across the board. They're all pretty funny. I think the scout has some of my favorites. I think my favorite domination line in the game is probably the scout, when he's like, you're like a car crash in slow motion. It's like I see it going through the windshield. Except I screwed that up a little bit. He says, it's like I'm watching it fly through the windshield. That's pretty funny. You see, I should have had the loose cannon out, and then I could have knocked him backwards. And I kind of still got him. And the medic there had no health, and he really should have come around the corner for that health pack, but he didn't. He stood there and burned to death. So I picked up the health pack before dipping around the corner to avoid the incoming heavy fire. And I'm like, you know what, we have pushed plenty far enough back. Oh, there's a scout. Spy scout. Scout spy. And there he goes up on the top shelf there. And I'm just so worried about this guy's going to get behind us all, kill all our NGs. I want no part of that happening. None whatsoever. I know he's got to be around here somewhere. And I thought for sure he already got around me, but nope, there he is. Being kind of obvious. And I was like, I didn't need to be concerned about that guy. He was kind of obvious. You can tell, too, because of the rate of the decloak. When he initially was trying to cloak and get away from me, he activated himself. He didn't activate a dead ringer, so you already know that guy's not using a dead ringer. I feel like the dead ringer at this point, with the amount of time I've put into using it, is just far and away my favorite spy watch. Just random aside, I love the dead ringer. It's the best. Not being able to tell if you have killed a spy or not is just fantastically useful. So here we've got like 90 seconds left, a little bit more than 90 seconds to go, and I'm thinking to myself, what usually happens at this stage of the map is we get all the people in the front that pushed way too far forward wiped out, and then that wave of offense just rolls over us while we're all in respawn. So I felt like I have got to keep this dispenser up so I have a source of health. And if I can just keep me and my little friendly dispenser up here, I think everything will be okay, especially because that was the medic earlier in the round. Arbitrary and Capricious, what a great name, by the way, just random aside. I love that. I love names like that, and I love crit stickies, too. Sometimes the game will give them to you, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it gives them to your foes, and you just see one crit sticky fly around a corner. You never even saw the demo man. It's like, oh crap, and you blow up. It's like, well, nothing I could have done there. Wasn't a thing to be done about that. It's just too little, too late. And there's the spy, and I thought, oh, I'm going to lose my favorite dispenser, and I'm not even managing to catch the spy. Doing no good. But we've got NGs running all over the place. And I'm thinking now, we've got less than a minute. Half of our 90 seconds is up. And we have managed to hold the cart. I'm just kind of managing to hold this general courtyard. I'm not going after the corner. I'm not trying to push people back way down the hallway. I'm not trying to hide out in the pit. I'm just trying to hide out right around this dispenser, right around the front of the truck, and just hold him off this corner and not stick my head out too much. But of course I realized that there was no more pressure coming because we've pushed them all back around the corner again, all the way back around the second point and down to this long hallway again. So I think I got gunned up by this heavy quite a bit. Yeah, I did. So he still blew up by the skin of his teeth there. I had like 21 health, and I'm like, I need health. I'm not going to stand there and fight with 21 health, but there's no time left, so why should I go running off for health when I'm not going to get any of it? I'll just fire grenades at no one. That's a good use of the final seconds of the round. So we did manage to hold him on defense, and that was cool, especially since the 2 rounds previous to that were overwhelming landslide victories for blue. You know, where the entire red team dies and there's like literally one red guy alive and like 7 people pushing the cart in. It's just rolling in and nobody's even having to defend it. It just is rolling practically of its own accord at that point. It's like being pushed in by like NGs and medics, and it doesn't. There's no resistance whatsoever. People are just running out into a stream of bullets and grenades and rockets and dying. So I jumped to another server after this round to try on Sawmill, so I can knock people into the saw blades. Because who doesn't want to knock people into saw blades? It's like one of the best things about the compression blast in that level. And I thought, hey, look, another weapon to knock people into saw blades with. And I was like, yeah, I got to give that a shot, even though I don't manage to knock a single person into a saw blade. Oh, I'm sorry I ruined the suspense, but at least this way you weren't expecting it. You can expect me to play on Sawmill, but not actually hit anybody into the saw blades. So that round was actually live commentated, unlike the previous round, because I did reload the game in between those rounds. There was like a 20-minute break in between. And I was like, I'm going to get another round in somewhere else. And so here's a round of Sawmill with me actually live commentating following this round that I just did. But, of course, that commentary wasn't recorded, so I had to do a post-commentary for it all the same. But on with Sawmill. Just doing up and over here. Oh, crit sticky. Oh, I didn't get the medic, though. Oh, but he's bouncing around. I knew I was going to get that medic the way he was walking all weirdly. Oh, I'm alive. Thank you, medic. Thank you. That's good. Back to the middle. Yeah, I still like stickies a lot. I've always loved stickies, and I've always had people kind of complain about them to some degree. People, spam, you're spamming. I'm like, I'm using the stickies effectively? Is that what you're complaining about? I'll just keep acting like I'm trying to kill the spy, because they'll keep faking out the medic. As soon as the first one went through him, it was kind of a foregone conclusion. Oh yeah, I'm so pleased I got that. I was like, I see fire, I don't know who it is, I'm just putting grenades around it, just in case. It's a preventative measure. Sometimes preventative measures are necessary. Oh. Yep, stickies. Very good preventative measures. I'll get my health back. Probably, yep, I totally will. I love this medic. Thank you, Evil Shredder, as opposed to the good Shredder. I don't know. I'm thinking of the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey, look at this, I can knock heavies away from you now. Isn't that great? Like, bye! You don't get to keep your aim on me easily. You get to bounce all over the place now and deal with yet another class that can knock you all over the place. It's kind of hilarious, especially since I don't really play that much heavy. Ooh, I seem to be on fire. I seem to have burst into flame. I think maybe the soldier is my favorite one of all of the on fire callouts. The I am on fire! Like, he's just announcing it. Like, it's not really something that's bothering him that much. Oh. I think I know that spy. I'm pretty sure he's a dead winger, too. I still did what I could. I'll just jump. When I get hit randomly, I jump. Hey, alright. Thank you, sir. Whoa, pyros. Oh boy. Which way are you gonna go? Oh, trying to guess is so tricky. I swear, it's so tricky. That seems to have played out pretty well for me in the end, inexplicably. Oh boy. I'll use the stickies when I need to. I really kind of want to play with the new gun to the maximum, but yeah, there's a limit that I won't cross. Can I get to the water? No. I seem to be dead. I seem to have died. I am dead. Still pretty solid around with that thing. I do like it, I gotta admit. So, thank you guys for watching, I do greatly appreciate it, as always. And the next 2 videos I do, I'm going to cover the next 2 weapons that are new. Obviously the NG shotgun that heals the sentry, I think, is how that works. From a distance, and you can, like, pick it up from a distance now, I don't really know. And the other new weapon is the medic new Uber gun. That's not an Uber gun. It's something weird. But, we'll see next time. Catch you later. Peace.